You know what? We all want love, but most of us don't want to date to get it because let's be honest, dating kind of sucks. But I fully believe it doesn't have to if we actually know what we're doing. Hi, I'm Kira Sabin, and this is Reinventing Dating, a smart and sweary podcast for all singles to learn the mindsets and skills to date with intention and confidence. Join me weekly as I break down the science and psychology behind what's working in our dating culture and what isn't. Every week, I'll bring a new topic, a trend, a skill, or mindset that can help us get out of our own way to learn how to date for relationships that we actually want. Because I fully believe and know that love isn't broken, but dating kind of is. So let's reinvent it together.
Well, hello there, Sugar Pants, and welcome to another episode of Reinventing Dating. I'm Kira. I'm back. So last week, I intended to do this podcast, and my allergies were so shit, I lost my voice for days, let alone an ear infection I've had, and it's been a weird-ass spring. I don't know about for you guys, but there are some great announcements. Number one, if you guys have not checked out Rom-Com Rescue, we are up. We have 10 episodes up. This baby only launched April 3rd. 10 episodes up. That's right. And we just put up The Idea of You, the brand new rom-com by Anne Hathaway, Nicholas Galitzine. If you guys haven't seen it, it's kind of fucking hot. I'm not gonna lie, it's on Amazon Prime, but definitely watch it if you haven't. I really, really liked it. And then go listen to Rom-Com Rescue. We break it down. We really talk about it. We laugh a lot. We have a lot of fun. And this week, because we're so fucking trendy and relevant, we just did The Idea of You. We are doing Bridgerton because Bridgerton season 3 is coming out. And so it'll be Bridgerton week on the Rom-Com Rescue podcast. We're going to be dressing up. We're going to be sharing our favorite characters, our favorite storylines, our favorite relationships, our least favorite relationships and characters. I'm looking at you, Anthony. I'm looking at you. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure that you are following Rom-Com Rescue on either Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. That's where we're at. We are going to have so much fun. Make sure that you're following us. Join the Bridgerton conversation. Join the Idea of You conversation. Join all the conversations. Because why not learn while you get to watch cool TV shows and movies? romcomrescue.com. And next Saturday, May 18th, is our very first Date Like You Fucking Mean It group workshop. $99. I'm running them monthly, approximately the third Saturday of every month. If you can't come next week, come the June date, the July date, the August date. You can actually buy them right now. Date.reinventingdating.com. It's that easy. Date.reinventingdating.com. We're going to spend the whole day together talking about modern dating, how to do it as successfully and smartly and safely as possible, and how to go in with intentions and mindsets so this crazy world of dating in 2024 doesn't fucking take us down. We're going to talk about rejection resilience, spotting emotional unavailability, needs versus wants, and then I'm going to take you through a full 3-month dating timeline, what you should do, what you should ask, scripts, everything, all for $99. And you walk away with a 30-page document with all of this information, with all of these scripts, as well as the recording. You can participate as little or as much as you want. You will never be on video. At most, you'll just be interacting in the chat, so you can be naked as far as I fucking care, or in your grossest pajamas, drinking your coffee, doing what you want, and learning about dating for $99. It doesn't get much better than this. Date.reinventingdating.com. If you can't join me this month, join me next month. Why not? Right? Even if you're like, I'm not sure if I want to date, why not stack everything in your corner so that if you do meet somebody you connect with, you know what to do. Let's get into the topic of today, which is about men and bears and dating, which is not something you always put together, but let me break it down. And I do want to give a quick content warning that later in this episode, I will be discussing rape and sexual assault statistics. And I just wanted to let everyone know. So, if you haven't been around TikTok and Instagram lately, I mean, good for you. Stay off social media. It's not really great, except to visit me, of course. But there has been a major debate going around since not this last week, but the week before. They found that when women were polled, if you were to be stranded in a forest with a man or a bear, who would you choose? And in this original poll, over 85% of women chose the bear without hesitation when asked if they would rather be stranded in a forest with a man or a bear. And then women started asking their male partners this question about their kids. Would you rather your daughter or son be in a forest with a bear or a man? And it's been interesting watching some of this because, I went kind of down a rabbit hole watching some of these videos and watching a lot of these fathers waffling, struggling to answer, wanting to ask questions like, well, who is this guy? Do I know this guy? Da 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 da. And they're like, that's not the information. The information is a bear or a man. And these men were forced to say the bear. And then I even saw videos where we turned that around and we said, what about any woman, right? So any woman or a bear. And the majority of women and men are like, oh, the women? Yeah, that's okay. Now, this is an interesting and, if not almost silly conversation going on. But the response, the reactions, and honestly, the information that we're getting from it is important as fuck. And I think is a great analogy of what I think is happening in the dating culture right now. Now, that may seem dramatic, but I don't think it is. One of the things I'm doing right now to prepare for Rom-Com Rescues, I am rewatching all of the Bridgertons. And I find them delightful enough that it's not too hard. I just finished season 1, moving into season 2, that I'm going to do Queen Charlotte. Hopefully all before we record on Friday. So we shall see. We shall see. But it is an interesting reminder of the absolute lack of opportunities, of choices that women had for so long. And I did the history of relationships and love and dating. You can find that podcast. I think it's a really, really worthwhile listen. In fact, I make that the pre-work, that and what is love, for every single person I work with. And in fact, you would see it if you joined the Date Like You Mean It group workshop. Because to know where we are and understand how we got here, we need to know where we came from. And where we came from is, for a long, long time, women had virtually zero options to choose who they dated, who they got in a relationship with. If a man decided to touch a woman in an inappropriate way, that woman would be ruined. Her family might even be ruined. This is a truth that we need to know. I reposted something on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, basically just sharing about, it's been 50 years this year since women were able to get a credit card on their own, or any line of credit, without a signature of a husband or father. 50 years. Guys, I'm 50. Happened actually the year after I was born, in 1974. Women getting to choose the career they wanted. Women getting to be educated for the career that they wanted. Women getting to choose if they wanted a relationship or not. Women getting to choose who they got to date, to marry. Any of it is all a newer privilege for women. Now, you may be in your 20s and going, that has nothing to do with me. I had some young guy post on my post, and please do not think for any second, even if that post has 11,000 likes, that I don't read every comment and that I don't respond to every comment that needs a response. But I had some guy come on to the post and say, in order to build a more equal tomorrow, we must let go of the sins of yesterday and stop punishing the son for the sins of the father, or all we do is perpetuate sexism. Now, please know that if you come on my post, I am going to respond. And I don't think this guy expected that. And I think it's easy when we're younger to be like, history, gross. They're all idiots and did terrible things, but we can do better, which we can. But if we forget or don't acknowledge all the things that people have been fighting for and done, especially all that the women have done to fight for the rights that we have right now, we repeat. And for as much as I have seen growth as a culture and mindset and skill and whatever, we keep going fucking backwards. So back to the topic of bears and men. Here are what some of the women responded about why they would choose bears over men. A bear won't stalk you if it told you were pretty and you said you weren't interested. A bear won't pretend to be kind to you to lower your guard. A bear won't lock you in a basement for months to torture you. A bear generally won't bother you if you're not bothering it. If you do get attacked by a bear and you say so, people will actually believe you. No one will ask you what you are wearing that made the bear attack you. No one will ask you how much you had to drink to make the bear attack you. No one will ask you what you were thinking about being in the woods for the bear to attack you. No one will ask you if you tried to fight back if a bear attacks you. No one will ask you if you led the bear to believe you wanted to be attacked if the bear attacks you. No one will condemn you for not fighting back harder if the bear attacks you. No one will arrest you for harming the bear when you fought back if the bear attacks you. No one will say you fucking deserved the attack if the bear attacks you. The bear won't say you were asking for it if it attacks you. The bear won't say it was consensual if it attacks you. The bear isn't going to try to convince everybody you're lying if the bear attacks you. The bear won't also go grab his buddies to attack you. The bear won't threaten you to keep the attack a secret. The bear won't show up at your family reunions because maybe you're related. If you survive the bear attack, you don't have to worry that the bear attack might be good friends with medical staff or police. If the bear attacks you, you won't have your reputation called into question. You won't get called a slut if the bear attacks you. People won't tell you you're paranoid for being cautious around bears. People won't tell you that not all bears are dangerous. If a bear attacks you, you won't be told it wouldn't be fair to ruin the bear's future by bringing it up. You won't be told that the bear is from a nice family and that they don't deserve the humiliation of an arrest if the bear attacks you. Do you pick up what I'm throwing down here? It's really funny. The very fucking first podcast I ever did. Very first podcast. It was about 20, I want to say 12, maybe 13. But the first episode I ever did was this. The number one thing that you need for love is to fucking want it because we don't have to have it anymore. Now, over the years, I now know we do need community. We need friendships. We need love. We need connection. But we don't have to have a romantic fucking partner to get that. And I think that there is a lot of men, and I'm going to speak very heterogender right now, but I think that there's a lot of men who think that they deserve a relationship. This podcast is about love. It is not about your fucking ego or pride. And I'm saying that to ladies too. This podcast is about how to get two people who have complicated lives, are busy, have baggage, have wounds, how to get them to love and see and care for each other in a way that builds a relationship that you actually want and so it lasts. Do you know why it's really hard to do that in 2024? Because women would rather be stranded in the middle of nowhere with a bear with unpredictable wildlife than they would with a man. And now I'm going to hear the not all men, not me. You're right. I'm pretty sure I'm married to the best man on earth. Pretty sure of it, actually. It's not all men. I have an incredible husband. But we have hit a point that we do not see enough healthy relationships, that I fully understand why women, I was virtually one of them, are just saying, fuck it. I see so many incredible women and clients say to themselves, the amount of time, energy, emotion, mental health, money, let alone we are all working full-time jobs. But all of that we have to put into dating and finding a person when we don't even see that many people in healthy relationships who are feeling loved, who are feeling happy, they start to ask themselves, what's the point? Is it worth going through all of this trouble and pain and these hoops and the rejection? Is it worth it? And I get it. And the problem is I'm over here fighting for love, but I'm enough of a feminist. And by the way, I'm a fucking fierce feminist because, yes, I believe that women should have the same rights as men. But women are saying to themselves, huh, I can date. I can go on these terrible fucking dating apps where people are trashy and awful, and a third of people are scammers. For every person I reach out to, I might actually get on a date with maybe 1 in 20 of them. And that's, I think, even a high number. And if I go out on a date, something bad could happen to me. Because it is a major statistic possibility. If I go on a date, I might get raped. If I stay home with my pets, I won't. I think we've all seen that post go around that men's biggest fear is rejection in dating, and a woman's biggest fear is rape or death. Gentlemen, would you be dating if there was a chance of you getting raped or killed? This is not me being dramatic. Let's get to the stats. Let's get to the statistics. Every 68 seconds, someone is sexually assaulted in the United States. 68 seconds. 53% of women have reported some form of sexual assault. 53%. 1 in 4 women have reported being victims of rape or attempted rape. 84% of the women who reported being raped knew their attackers, and 57% of the rapes happened on dates. Date and acquaintance rape is more common than alcoholism, heart attacks, and left-handedness. Rape victims rarely report because of things like being shamed, being told that they wanted it, they encouraged it, and all the other bullshit that our media and other women say to them. This is not just a man problem. 42% of the victims told no one about their assaults. Only 5% actually reported rapes to the police, and 5% sought help at rape crisis centers. Now, maybe you're like, maybe this wouldn't be such a problem if more women reported it or had rape kits. Let's talk about that for a second. I would love to. Thank you. I would love to talk about that. I don't know if you guys are aware, but there is a humongous backlog of rape kits in our country. There are states that have thousands of rape kits that are sitting in a warehouse untested. Thousands. And in fact, if you don't believe me, go to endthebacklog.org. I was very excited to see that Wisconsin is 0. Wisconsin has 0 backlog rape kits. California has 13,000, by the way. There are some states that are not even reporting their backlogs. What do I mean? I mean there are women who are going through the proper channels to report rape or sexual assault, and the rape test kit, which has DNA, which has all of the information, is not being logged and tested. Imagine being raped. Imagine going through that level of hell of somebody violating you. Next, you might be pregnant. And now we have taken away rights for women who have been raped, sometimes by a relative, to be able to do anything about that. Next, let's say that you are raped. You do the proper things. You go through the proper channels. You go to the hospital. The last thing I want to do is sit in a paper fucking robe and have people stick things in my vagina to swab. Because the last thing I want to do is be touched in any more awful ways. But these women are doing it to hopefully help the cause, help the system, and put people away. And then imagine that you did all of that. You're probably paying for your own fucking therapy if you can even afford it, trying to get back to some level of normalcy in life after such a tragic event. And then you find out that your rape kit is sitting in a warehouse somewhere, untested. Nobody did anything with the information or DNA. And your rapist is out walking around because there's not enough staff to go through the rape kits. Make that make sense, my friends. Make that make sense. If you've been following me at all for a while, you know I'm not a great sleeper. I haven't been for many, many years. One of my favorite things to watch on TikTok, which, by the way, TikTok is by far my favorite platform. My TikTok FYP For You page is full of kittens and happiness, science, recipes, good things. But one of the most fascinating things I watch at like 3 a.m. when I can't sleep or woke up because of hot flashes is a woman who has a whole business and over 1.5 million TikTok followers watching her pack orders of self-defense for women. Self-defense products and mini weapons almost, because we have to protect ourselves. This is a whole industry. She puts together packages with, cute keychains and little puff balls and things like that. And then stun guns, tasers, pepper sprays, a little knife that looks like a key, a seatbelt cutter and window breaker, a really fucking loud rape alarm. One of my favorites, kitty knuckles, where you can put your fingers in, and the ears, you can stab somebody and run away. Mini batons, you cannot believe it. And she is packing hundreds of orders a day. This is the reality. This is the truth of being a woman in our world. I'm glad that we now get to bedazzle our weapons, but the fact that a woman in 2024 has a whole business with 1.5 million followers with huge gift bags full of ways that women need to protect themselves the minute they leave the house. And sometimes they don't even have to fucking leave their houses. And the final statistics I'll say for today is that when compared in the last couple of years here in the US, bears killed about 8 women. Men killed 12,000. From 2020 to 2022. 12,000. We can't talk about why women don't want to date if we don't sit here and recognize dating and how unsafe it can be for single women. We can't talk about this humongous shift in our dating culture of people stepping back, stepping away from all things, which is what I am seeing. I get a Google alert every day on the word dating to see what's trending, what's happening. People are giving up on apps. People are giving up on dating. I'm not even going to convince you that you need to be dating. And this fucking podcast is called Reinventing Dating. Because more than anything, I just want people to be safe and fucking happy. Now, I'm living proof that you can have, build, create a healthy, wonderful relationship, even a hetero one. But we can't be so blindsided by love or the idea of love or romance that we do not look at the dirty and gross underbelly that is also happening on dates, meaning date rape and sexual assault. So where do we go from here? Now, my ladies who listen, which are the majority, this is a little bit for you, but it's not really for you. And I'm going to ask what I ask every week, although most people don't do it, which is, if this resonated with you, if you think this conversation is important, which honestly, I believe this conversation is very important, please share this. Please share this with men you know, single men you know. I know they're frustrated too. But there's elements here that we need to start discussing to make this feel a little better and safer for everybody involved. And ultimately, physical safety isn't as much of a concern for men as it is for women. But here's where we start. We start holding people accountable, not just even in their actions and in their words, in their jokes. Guys, I'm looking at you. I know a lot of great men. I really do have a lot of great guy friends. I have a lot of friends who have good husbands. I have a good husband. I know a lot of good men. And even of those good men who would identify as feminists, as women supporters, I also know that not all of them are stopping people when a shitty sexist joke is being shared. They're not speaking up when they hear something terrible, a comment made about a woman or a date. We have continued to normalize this underlying sexism through comments, through jokes. That hasn't gone away. When somebody says something disgusting about the woman they're dating or the woman they had a date with or somebody they had sex with, and it's not nice, call them out on it. And because I like to do a little research for these episodes, because I'm trying to bring some awesome here, I was a little not surprised, but a little disheartened when I looked at some of the scripts or phrases they were encouraging men to say to other men. Because there's things like, yeah, man, that's not cool. I think we can do a little bit better than that, don't you? I mean, the biggest things to remember are this. Don't let it pass. Don't laugh even just because you're uncomfortable. Stop what somebody is saying and say, I'm actually not okay with those comments. Done. People only do shit that they think is okay and they can get away with, and they will test the waters around them on a regular basis. And if you say, no, I'm not okay with that, please don't say those comments around me, what you said was highly offensive, you might need to check yourself. This is how we start at least creating some awareness that can lead to change behavior. People don't change if they never get called out that what they're doing is not okay. They may have grown up in an environment where that's what they heard and it was acceptable. They may have been surrounded by people who said those kind of things and it was acceptable. You don't have to be one of those people. Now, when it comes to actual dating And particularly since online dating is still such a major thing, or even just us going on a date with someone who we don't know, because for many, many thousands of years, you dated somebody from down the street, from a nearby family, a friend's brother, or cousin. That's what happened. So it's even more unsafe because we keep going out with people who we think we know and we don't. So because of that, keep that first date or first couple of dates, keep those dates short and sweet. Keep it light, keep it safe, meet in public during the day. A big fan of coffee or tea. My favorite is ice cream or gelato. If you are a guy, I think the best thing you can do and encourage ladies, your guy friends, your brothers to do this. Let them know to tell their dates, where would you like to meet where you feel safe? Because your safety is important to me. I mean, that makes me hot in my hoo-ha just talking about it. Somebody actually taking a fucking second thought and saying, I know this is half an hour out of my way, but if that's comfortable and you feel safe to meet there because you don't know me that well, I'm not going to have my ass chapped and my ego bruised because I understand the lack of safety for dating for single women. Guys who start doing this would be heroes. There would probably be parades in their honor. By just asking someone, particularly for the first couple of dates, what would feel good for you? Not because I can't plan a date, but because I want to make sure that you feel safe, is kind, is thoughtful, and is teaching that person that you're dating who you're going to be in that relationship, which I hope that's who you're going to be. Next, ladies, don't let somebody pick you up from your house or from somewhere like your workplace until you know them. And gentlemen, although you may have been raised to do that, which I get that because I was raised with that too, in this day and age, that's not considered safe anymore. So offering to meet them there with the backup that I think that I've learned that that's more physically safe for a woman. Nobody's going to begrudge you that. And if some token person is offended by that, not your person. Because if they're more interested in what you're going to do for them than their own physical safety, they are not really creating healthy relationships. Next, keep booze to a minimum, my friends. I know we get nervous. I know that alcohol is a natural lubricant. I know that it can kind of loosen up the situation, make us a little more flirty, let our guard down. But you know what? Honestly, a first date is not the date that you should be letting your guard down. Be open, be welcoming, be in a day space in public that you feel perfectly comfortable and safe to truly get to know this person. When you know them, when you can trust them, I don't give a shit. Pour the wine, grab a gummy. Makes no difference to me. But we do need to put ourselves in smart situations. And alcohol tampering is a real fucking thing. And even enough alcohol can let our guards down enough that we put ourselves in situations we shouldn't. We might go somewhere that we ultimately would not have if we were sober. We make decisions that we wouldn't have if we were sober. And safety or no safety, that's just not the way you want to fucking date with intention the first couple dates anyway. Do you ever want to have to like text or call that person and be like, oh my God, I'm sorry. It turns out I had a little too much to drink last night and I shared a bunch of things I shouldn't have shared. Or I did a bunch of things I actually don't feel comfortable doing this early on. It's not really helpful. And finally, I'm a full believer, since we're talking about dating safely, for both people to possibly be using a second number for texting until you get to know that person. Not giving away your real email, not letting them know where you work, not letting them know where you live. You need to remember that dating and relationships have mostly been through friends and family for so many years. Us dating complete strangers is a pretty new thing. So you can go to Google Voice. There are certain apps where you can get a second number. There are lots of ways. I am not watching Baby Reindeer. I've heard a lot about it, but that alone, however you identify as male, female, non-binary, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Stalking happens. Unhealthy behavior can happen. And honestly, how we behave in those first couple of dates of what we allow, what we watch for, fucking matters. Every single person knows somebody who has a terrible ex, who they may still be stuck talking to because they had children with them or commitments with them. Love is seeing the whole picture. Love is about seeing the good and not so good in people and this world and making sure that we are choosing wisely to who becomes a big part of our life that is based on joy and happiness and connection and love, not fear and scarcity and choosing people because we think we better grab this one or maybe another one won't come along. Think about the type of people you are choosing from that fear-based space. I know it's not romantic. It's super unsexy to think about these things. We want to think about going out and finding love and connection and that exciting romantic feeling. But it's hard to find that romantic feeling again after somebody's really taken advantage of you or possibly hurt you. And the more that we can date with this knowledge and this empathy that you have no idea what that person has gone through, you have zero idea what that person has experienced, and you probably won't know for a while. But if they set a boundary, if they ask you for something, you absolutely get to ask questions or clarify and decide if it feels okay for you. But particularly when it comes to dating single women and they don't know you, be kind. Be thoughtful to that. You will be, once again, a hero just for putting out a statement such as what would feel good for you, what would feel safe for you. Your physical safety is one of my top priorities here. That's what real chivalry is, by the way. Because I'm not so worried about the human population or things like that. But I am seeing a shit ton of disconnection in our world. And if you are going to date, if you are putting yourself out there, bringing this knowledge of how unsafe it can be for women, as well as putting some really smart things in place so that you stay safe as a woman is imperative so that you can stay long enough to meet somebody that you want to start something with. I don't know if I'm going to live long enough in this world to see a time where women feel safer with men than bears. But I do know we can do better than this. And I do know that we can date better than this. That's what I'm teaching. All right, guys, that's it for today. I hope this was helpful. If you liked this, please subscribe so you don't miss any of the future episodes with this kind of dating genius. And also share it with everybody you know. Regularly, we are meeting people who are getting a divorce or just have become single. Let them know you like this podcast. It's helpful and it gets it out there. Finally, if you love it, please leave a review, whether it's just some stars on Apple or Spotify, or writing down what you really love about this podcast. I read every single one. They fucking make my day. You become a hero in my mind for a day or two. And it just makes the world a little bit better place. All right, guys. I'll be here next week. And until then, meet love halfway.